Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. Wish you could travel this year, but you don't have the time or the money? We've got you. Now this is no trip to the sunny Caribbean to have a cocktail out of a coconut though, but it is nice that we can do it from the comfort of our homes. Travel with us as we explore the top 10 most dangerous islands.
Number 10. Ramree Island, Myanmar. This island is off the coast of Myanmar, which used to be Burma. Back in 1945, during World War II, British and Japanese troops battled into the marshes around Ramree. Little did they know, the enemy soldiers were the last thing to worry about out there. They were attacked by the saltwater crocodiles in the marshes. It was so bad that it went into the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest disaster suffered from animals. Despite all this, historians still disagree about whether it actually happened or not. Number 9. Farallon Island. Surely you thought this list would be full of islands you'd never heard of, way off on the other side of the world. Sorry to disappoint. Number 9 is just off the shore of San Francisco, where almost 48,000 drums of nuclear waste were dumped after an aircraft carrier crashed. After being dumped, it's stated that the soldiers shot holes in the barrels to get them to sink, so it's not like the waste is contained exactly. The dump is just 31 miles away from the Golden Gate Bridge, and visiting it is probably not the healthiest idea. Number 8. Saba Island. Saba Island is probably the only place on Earth that could claim to be hated by God. But it's not for its lack of good weather or its political situation. It's simply something it can't get rid of. Its location. It's located right in the path of almost all hurricanes. It's been hit by more hurricanes than any other island on Earth for the past 100 years. This simple but unchangeable fact makes it one of the most dangerous islands and possibly the worst place to live. Number 7. Ilha de Queimada, Brazil. As soon as you hear this dangerous island's nickname, you'll understand precisely why nobody wants to go there. Ilha de Queimada is off the coast of Brazil and is often referred to as Snake Island, thanks to the thousands of golden lancehead vipers that live there. Interestingly, this is the only place in the world that the extremely venomous snakes live. Despite being beautiful creatures, they'll surely kill you, as the island is said to be so saturated with them that there's one snake every 10 square feet or 1 square meter. Of course, there is a black market for them, so if you're into that sort of thing, expect to pay around $30,000 if you know the right people. Number 6. Bikini and Enewetak Atoll, Marshall Islands. Imagine the scandal if a country took a UNESCO World Heritage Site and started testing nuclear weapons on it today. It would be an outrage, right? Well, grab your binoculars because we won't be coming too close to these islands. Here's the story. Between 1946 and 1958, it was common at Bikini Atoll, one of the Marshall Islands. Most of the original inhabitants of the island left and refused to return, which wasn't a bad idea since food and plants are still contaminated. Nearby, at Enewetak Atoll, another Marshall Island, a concrete dome was placed for dumping radioactive soil and debris. The U.S. took over in World War II, and residents were evacuated before the 43 nuclear tests were fired. The soonest the island is projected to be safe is 2027, and even then, I'm not sure I'd risk visiting. Number 5. Miyake-Jima, Japan. Let's take a detour to Japan. We'll stop at the Izu Islands, but we won't stay long. See, there's active volcano activity from Mount Oyama. When it erupted in the past, it wasn't pretty. Just look back to 2005 when it leaked poisonous gas all over the island, forcing its inhabitants to wear gas masks at all times. Now, there are alarms across the islands when sulfur levels rise. Number 4. Comoros. Next on our tour, Comoros. What? You've never heard of them? They're a group of islands between Mozambique and Madagascar. Despite the island itself being generally fine, the conditions there aren't. The water is contaminated and malaria is rampant. The milk is unpasteurized and hepatitis E and B are extremely common. Comoros is probably not a frequent spot on cruise lines, I'm guessing, so we'll just keep moving along. Number 3. Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Our next stop isn't so much an island as it is a floating trash pit. No, literally. It floats in the middle of the North Pacific Ocean, and it's twice the size of Texas. Though this isn't the most dangerous island for humans, it definitely is for any animal that might cross its path. Seabirds tend to forage the area for food and end up dead with toys and buttons in their stomach, while many fish, dolphins, and turtles become entangled in abandoned fishing nets. Number 2. Clipperton Island. Here we are at Clipperton Island. Sorry we had to swim here, but even the Guinness Book of World Records most traveled man had to do the same. It's remote, but that's not the most dangerous part of the island. It's barren, has no fresh water, and the reefs that surround it on all sides could easily grate you like cheese. That's not all, though. There was an attempt at colonizing the island in 1906. They depended on Mexican ships to bring supplies, and when the Mexican Civil War left the island abandoned and forgotten, things got savage. Think of a Lord of the Flies scenario. Victoriano Alvarez was the last surviving male, and he enslaved, murdered, and raped all the remaining women and children. Before being rescued, the women took revenge. Now the island remains untouched and full of all that bad karma. Number 1. North Sentinel Island, Andaman Islands. North Sentinel Island is our last stop on today's tour, but we're going to stay on the ship. In fact, we're going to stay quite a bit away from this one. Why? We assume it's because no one has stayed there and lived. North Sentinel Island is 20 miles off the coast of Smith Island in the Bay of Bengal. On the island live one of the very few uncontacted tribes that still exist, likely because of their hostility toward other people. For years, they've opposed visitors, firing arrows at anyone they see. In 2018, 26-year-old John Chow bribed his way to the island in order to preach Christianity to the locals. It was reported that he quickly died from a hailstorm of arrows. Thanks for watching. Don't know about you, but I think I'll stick with the more relaxing and less dangerous islands, where the worst thing I'll get is a pretty bad sunburn. Would you want to go to any of the islands on this list? Let us know in the comments. You can hop safely from one Top 10 Archive video island to the next by subscribing, clicking the bell, and giving this video a like.